And we're live. Oh my gosh. I haven't spoken to this gentleman in a fucking long time. Ronan, how you doing, sir? Hope you're doing well.
You you said the F word, so that's you. You're going to get banned now for that, Steve. I'm not joking. You say the F word on YouTube in the first 2 minutes now, and they just demonetize the whole thing. So if you were monetized and you said that, you're just demonetized. It's absolutely crazy the way
Never
the world's
mind.
got.
Fucking
um,
YouTube's wild.
yeah, but man, listen, it's been a crazy ride for the past years. Just been absolutely crazy from getting attacked by Antifa in Dublin to being taken off nearly every social media platform for what me and a few other people exposed in regards to Ireland, finding out that the Irish Constitution that we're governed by isn't the actual Irish Constitution. Um, child shipping rings being acted or sort of being facilitated in Era here in Ireland. Uh, Politicians linked in with this, children going missing, social services, a lot of stuff's been exposed in this year. Um, and it's just been absolutely a crazy ride, man. And do you know what? I've been on other panels, but I haven't been able to explain it, like properly explain what this year's been like. And I've promoted this on my TikTok because I'm on my final, like I've had my other TikTok taken down. We're going to get into this in a little minute, but my new one, it's just been heavily shadow banned. I was averaging 200,000 views per week and other videos were getting 1 million views. I had videos getting 1 million views, 300,000 views, but on average, I was getting about 200,000 views per week on my TikToks, exposing political corruption. And they took me down. And I want to explain how they took me down for me releasing verified information and how they done that in YouTube too. So I don't know where you want to start off with this. I suppose we could start off why I got my Holden official taken down.
Yeah, yeah. I was going to say, flipping, I didn't have much time to chat to you behind the scenes with regards to that, but the floor is yours,
Yeah.
Ronan.
Well, I think it was last year I had my Holden official taken down because I just referenced the podcast between Brett Weinstein and Tucker Carlson where Brett said that 17 million people aren't here anymore because they got the liquid that's supposed to prevent the sniffles. Remember the sniffles that started at the end of 2019? Now, that podcast is still up between Brett and Tucker Carlson. I spoke about that podcast on my channel, on my Holden official channel. And I says, look, this isn't fact. I've read the community guidelines on YouTube. This isn't fact. This is all debatable. I actually questioned where Tucker was getting his data from. I went swimming with my son on the way back home. Sorry, on the way to swimming with my son. I looked down on my phone, tried to get into my YouTube to see how well the video was doing. And it says that your YouTube channel no longer exists. So came back home, appealed it, woke up the next morning, no luck. So I contacted YouTube to say, look, this was like a week process. I'm speeding this up a little bit for you here, but there was like a week's process where I was playing hardball with them. I got in contact with a YouTube representative that only deals with channels that are over 100,000 subscriptions. She said to me, I've seen the video. You haven't broke the community guidelines. It's in the high 80s that you're going to get your 80% chance you're going to get your channel back. I deal with this all the time. And within 15 minutes, she says it'll take 48 hours for them to come to the conclusion whether you're going to get your channel back or not. It's that long of a process. Within 15 minutes of me having that conversation with that lady from the Philippines, the YouTube rep from the Philippines, within 15 minutes I received an email saying you're permanently banned and you're never allowed on here ever again.
Wow.
So that was crazy. And it says, look, I was being through the whole Deca Higgy situation. I was like, do you know what? Maybe it's time for that channel just to go. It was dead in the water anyway. The people that were, not all the people, but a lot of the people that were subscribed to me are just there for drama. I'm stuck in the mud in this here. So I'm just going to create another channel, which I did. I created the Stray Cabbage channel, which started flying. It completely started taking off. And it was just Irish-based, exposing political corruption within the Irish political system here. I had regular viewers getting thousands of views. Everything was going well. I had my show, the Leo Varadkar Clown Show, where I was taking the piss out of the leader of Ireland, exposing all the political corruption. That's on the Stray Cabbage channel. Found out about the child shipping gangs, the hundreds of kids missing in Ireland, all the bribery that's going on within Europe and the Irish government, all the money that's being spent, the migrant issue, why the migrants are coming in. I linked in companies that were shipping in weapons also along with migrants, which I found very, very strange. All verified information that I was able to put evidence to. And then one day I looked down at my channel, and I never even so much as received a strike on the channel or a warning on the channel. And I actually verified my face on the channel. Google will ask you to verify your face. So I sent in a picture of myself so they knew who I was. And that was me for like 6 months. Booming. Thousands of subscriptions, thousands of views, better demographic, really, really good patriots of Era were subscribed to me, really, really beautiful people. And I looked down one day and it says my channel doesn't exist anymore. So I looked at my emails and they'd done me for circumvention, which is trickery and deception. Now what that means is they tried to say that I deceived YouTube on who I was. So they said that because I was permanently deleted from my Holden official channel, that I was never allowed back onto YouTube again. But it's an old rule on YouTube that they never use, because there's people out there with millions of subscriptions that get banned, that get their channel deleted, and they create another one and they're 100% fine. YouTube only really uses this if they want to take you down. So what's happened is, and I was speaking to a few people that, that had channels and that were banned, says, we've never heard this before. Now you're making us worried that we're going to get our channel taken. Says, we've never heard of this before. I've had multiple channels. I've had 2 channels taken down of me, and this has never happened before. And I showed them a bit of my content, and it says 100% man, you were taken down. Then I looked into Ireland. Big tech Ireland is the hub of big tech in the whole of Europe. Because I was exposing Helen McEntee, the Minister of Justice, and the conflict of interest between her and her husband. Her husband sells he's the marketer for trans medication for people. And she was also the Minister of Justice, who was advocating for a hate speech bill that would inhibit me from speaking about her husband's medication that he's trying to sell off to children. And I said that, which is all verified fact. I said, this is a conflict of interest. She shouldn't be in the job. And then if you look into who they're friends with big tech. My videos were getting thousands of views. So naturally, they pulled strings in the background. And you have to understand, I'm not one of the biggest channels, but to sway an electorate in Ireland, all I need to be getting is 50 to 100,000 views per week. And you're swaying the electorate in Ireland to vote against these people, to vote the corrupt and the demonic out of power. And they knew that. And there was me, there was Niall McConnell, there's Michael O'Keefe on X, who's doing a good job. You've got Gavin Pepper, who's just been elected into the Irish government. And the thing about it is, right, they did pull strings to get me taken down, and they used the old circumvention rule to get me taken down because there's other people on this platform. Now, information got released on my previous Holden official channel months prior, where the pharmaceutical company, Pfizer, who made the liquid to prevent the sniffles, released information confirming that I was right. Now, they didn't use my name, but they just confirmed the information that I released in the first place that got me taken down. Well, I was buying on the money, and so was Brett Weinstein and Tucker Carlson. So I took that to YouTube, saying, "You have taken me down for lies. They took me down originally for medical misinformation." And I says, "Here is the proof of what I'm saying." They seen the proof and they basically lied and said, "You're never coming back onto the platform." Then I started looking into Niall Mohan, the CEO of YouTube, who's 45,000 followers on X. He's very reachable. And I'm not a troll, but I do plague his comment section with all the relevant information. Right now on YouTube, you have Feature Man, aka Thomas Willett. Check it out. Who molested 14-year-old boys in Nevada in the 1970s. He got done for a crime against nature. He's on YouTube right now, monetized. and he's a convicted sex offender, a convicted paedophile, I have to add. You have scam artists all over YouTube right now scamming vulnerable people. They're allowed to do that. But if I come out with verified information to do with the sniffles and the liquid to prevent the sniffles, that's deemed undesirable and I'm taken down. So with my Stray Cabbage channel, I got taken down for exposing political corruption, and on my Holden Official channel, I got basically taken down for not exposing, but just talking about the sniffles and the liquid. Now, it doesn't stop. This is actually affecting my life now, because there's things that are happening in my life that I can't explain. So I had a big TikTok channel that was averaging between 100 to 200,000 views per week. Lots of likes, lots of shares, lots of people were seeing, lots of people were agreeing with me, and it was undoubtedly swaying the electorate to the point where there was a referendum where they tried to change the definition of a mother. You know, a daddy can be a mummy or whatever, right? Woke laws. They tried to bring in a referendum for durable relationships, 10 mummies and 5 daddies, which would have massive tax implications here in Ireland. I stated this, we exposed all this, and it got a landslide no vote. And it was after that my channel got taken down. And if you understand who the leader of Ireland, Simon Harris, he's well in with TikTok, he's well in with big tech. I do believe that they had a hand in not just taking me down. I don't think they specifically targeted me, but they took my big TikTok channel down, my big TikTok account that was averaging 100 to 200,000 views per week. Some videos were getting 1 million views just on that video alone, completely swaying the electorate. You mix that in with Simon or with Michael O'Keefe on X. You mix that in with Gavin Pepper, who's just been elected in the Ballymunfinglas area. You mix that in with all of those people. These people were being exposed for who they are, the satanic demons, corrupt system that they are. And now I've got a new TikTok, and I'm being shadow banned. So the videos that I put out aren't even reaching a tenth of what I would normally reach. And people that follow me don't see any of my stuff, and it is what it is. So I'm essentially, apart from Michael O'Keefe and a few other people, but I could near enough take the crown as probably the most banned person in Ireland on social media.
I'll tell you what, that's fucking ridiculous, especially going back to the subject you were speaking about that was already out in the public domain. And another channel had already, put that video out there, and you've done exactly the same. So I feel now that it's one law for one and one for another. If you've got 100,000 subs, and you're bringing in a bit of fucking revenue, then YouTube's going to favour that over, say, a smaller channel that's on, say, 10k subscribers. So it's like one law for one and one for another, because otherwise they would have took the other person's channel down and banned them the same way that they've done to you. It's fucking disgusting.
Well, how they done it, Steve, and people need to know the process on how they done it. So this is how they done it. How did they take me down for verified information? So I'm talking about my TikTok, right? That was getting averaging 200,000 views per week. So number one, they flagged every single one of my videos. So every video that I put out was getting a community guidelines violation. I appealed and I always won. Now they realized that they weren't going to win with me. They realized that what I was putting out was verified information, but they still had to take me down. But to save themselves a court case, they done it this way, and they were very smart about it. So to get taken off TikTok, all you need is 3 community guidelines violations, and then that's it. You're out. They'll delete you. I received one day for a community guidelines violation, and I appealed it, and that sat on my appeal page for a month. And I thought, this is weird. And then I realized on TikTok, you're guilty until proven innocent. So even though I appealed that still goes down as a community guidelines violation. Then I got another community guidelines violation that they didn't look at. So that's 2 in the background that it's verified information. They know if they look at it, they know if they review it, they're going to have to put it back up. But they leave it there. They ignore those 2 videos. And then the day before, I think it was there was a referendum for something, or there was something big that was happening. I forget what it was, and I put out a video, and that got hit with a community guidelines violation, and then they terminated my TikTok account. So essentially, what they done was they just ignored my appeals and allowed videos to sit on appeal, knowing that it was guilty until proven innocent, knowing that that would activate a ban, even though it's verified information that doesn't break their community guidelines. Because a lot of people on TikTok, a lot of videos get taken down for community guidelines. You appeal it, and within 10 minutes they're back up again. With me, they just started ignoring the videos that I was appealing, knowing that that was a tactic to take me down, and it worked. And they've done it with my new one too. I've got a video sitting on appeal for a month now, and I know that they're using the same tactics on my new one, but I don't give a fuck, because at least I can sleep good at night. If they take me down of all these social media platforms, at least I can sleep good at night. Now, to prove what I'm trying to say to you here, right, about my first Holden official channel getting taken down, I put the same video onto X, Twitter, formerly known as Twitter, the one that they done me for medical misinformation. And on Twitter, there's fact checkers. So if you're wrong about something, a fact checker will literally write underneath it exactly if you're lying or telling. They don't take your post down, but they say this person's being deceptive. This is the truth, and they give you all the relevant links. It's called fact checkers all over Twitter. It's absolutely fantastic. Now, whenever I posted my Brett Weinstein video, there's no fact checkers underneath that there, because I didn't state anything as fact, and it gets to stay on X, formerly known as Twitter, because it's not medical misinformation. YouTube, and as I just seen Stevie Boy Billings there, massive respect to Stevie Boy. I know me and him have a difference of opinions and things, but I think we cherish freedom of speech. Right now in Era, this country's actively being destroyed by Helen McEntee, by Simon Harris, Leo Varadkar. Sinn Féin are traitors. They're Irish internationalists. They're not Irish Republicans. They're Brits. The motto for Era is Brits out, everybody else in. For me, as a person who loves this country, who loves all the people who come to this country, immigrants, I think we should do our fair share of refugees, help all that. But right now we've got an open border that's facilitating a human shipping organization. This is all verified information. You can research this yourself on Google. There's drug gangs, fentanyl's hit the streets. And if we speak about this here, our own government and media calls us far right, and they actively target us. And right now there's certain things that are happening in my life, contracts that I've had in my personal life with work and things like that have fallen apart. And I know that I don't have 100% proof, but I know because of the things that I've been speaking about and the corruption that I've been exposing on this island, has led to contracts being terminated, because the government overreach in this country is astronomical. They're targeting everybody. They're going after everybody. They're raiding people's houses. They're arresting people. If you're in Era right now, we live in a tyrannical system. You do not have a democracy. Democracy does not exist anymore. The only constitution that I go by is the Bunrock 1937, the Constitution of Era. I do not conform to the Royal Blue Constitution of Ireland. That is the anglicised version of Ireland. Ireland is the name for the anglicised version of Era. And Sinn Féin, Labour, Fine Gael, Fianna Fáil, Alliance, all these parties know it's coming to an end. They're creating civil unrest. There will be a war, inevitably. You can see it. It's going to pop off. You're allowed to be racist towards the sons and daughters of Era. You're allowed to be derogatory towards them. There's always an agenda. I have to say this, if anybody's watching this here, I don't care how many people's watching this now, but if anybody's watching this here, you're not far right. You're right so far. Fuck them. They're nothing but a bunch of demonic demons that happily watch children suffer. And I haven't even come on to the radical alphabet mafia doctrine that they're trying to throw upon our children at the minute. It's absolutely disgusting. And they're going to be remembered. I can't say any more than that. But when things go tits up, they're going to be remembered. If you are a son and daughter of Era, you only go by the Bunrock 1937. You do not conform to the Royal Blue Irish Constitution of Ireland. That is the anglicised. Even the Irish language has been anglicised. Clode Gaelic is our true native tongue. Bunrock 1937. You can get your copy at bunrock.ie, where Sid and Mouse have absolutely annihilated the current government, north and south. In the Bunrock 1937, there is no borders. Era is whole. Anything done under the emergency constitution after World War II in the Constitution of Ireland, under the Constitution of Ireland, is unconstitutionally done. It has to be done with the Bunrock 1937. They know this. The affidavit's been sent in. It's been sent to America. The only people that's got back to Sid are the Americans. Fine Gael, Fianna Fáil. Leo Varadkar quit 2 days after the affidavit was sent, and we know that it reached his office. That is the Constitution of Era. What's happening to this country, the illegal invasion, what's been said about this place, offshoring our medical decisions via unified patent court to the central database in Europe. These are all going to be remembered as traitors when things go tits up.
Well, I mean, it shocked me to fucking hear all of this and the way they're treating you, but for it to affect your life personally, i.e. stopping you from, making that money through the contracts, they've actually destroyed that. So I'm wondering if there's any way that you can put in for compensation against what they've actually aimed right towards you over all this.
Don't want their money. I don't want their stinking money. I've been approached by political organizations. I'm not going to say who they are. I'm not joining any political organization. These are all corrupt. I don't want their money. I don't want their compensation. But if what all I'm saying is there's some serious people involved in this now. Nothing to do with me. Absolutely nothing to do with me. That are absolutely sick of and I don't want to sound bad here because I know there's going to be English people watching this here. I'm not sounding. Listen, my brothers and sisters from England, America, all the rest, but we are not English. We're not Australian. We're not American. We're not Scottish. We're not Welsh. We're not Russian. We're Irish. And whenever the Irish people are backed up into a corner, there's no fight. There's only one option. It's not flight. It's fight. Yeah. And when the Irish fight, they win. So these West Brits in Simon Harris, who calls Derry Londonderry, as I'll keep stating, under the Bunrock 1937, the Constitution of Era, the real Constitution of Era, not the anglicised Constitution of Ireland, there is no borders. On my passport, there is no borders. And what's being done, Sinn Féin, Sharia Féin, they're trying to bring in Islam. They're having Islamic meetings all over. Not that I'm against Islam fully. I don't really want to state this. I'm not being bigoted towards Islam here. Islam's Islam. But under Islam, there's still child marriages. Under Islam, women are being stoned, to death. Under Islam, there's a lot of radicalism. The top 40 terrorist organizations in the world, I do believe, I could be wrong about that actual thing, but I know the top 20, the top 30 terrorist organizations in the world are Islamic. Through a whistleblower, Ireland's allowed in 150 plus jihadi terrorists into the country. How is this a good thing for our country? How is it a good thing to have to be dictated to by people that were never born here? The Lord Mayor, I don't know if you call it the Lord Mayor, but the Mayor of Derry from Africa was implanted by Sinn Féin. And the first thing she told Ireland, she says that the Irish people are racist. That's the first thing that came out of her mouth in Derry. Well, my message to these people is I respect you. It's not about skin colour. It's all about ideology. If this country's so bad, then why are you living here? Why not sort your own place out? Oh, that's right. because they probably wouldn't listen to it for 5 seconds, and you would probably really be stoned, and bad things would happen to you. Over here, we've got this thing. Well, we've got an illusion of democracy, but we're nice people. But our kindness has been taken for weakness, and we're not weak. And I'm trying to warn the people here. I'm trying to warn the people of Era. Something severely bad's going to happen here. It's out of my hands. I've taken a step back from this, and there's people here that are saying, no, we can't have this anymore. You have Simon Harris getting bomb threats to his house. Just listen to the people. Don't conform to any type of terrorism. Don't be doing that. I wouldn't say that. I'm against all that. But listen to the people. The country's being destroyed, and you're allowing this to happen. England's gone. England's been gone for the past couple of years. Scotland's fighting back. France is fighting back. And we're fighting back. But there's only going to be one winner in this.
Blue Sniffer he is. Ronan has got the fresh title straight off the press for the most banned person in Ireland as regards to speaking out the truth, getting his word out there, because it's not right how they've treated him whatsoever.
It's not so much how they're treating me, Steve. It's how they're treating the sons and daughters of Era. They're treating us like we're second-class citizens. They're treating us as if we're wrong. They're calling us far right. They're calling us bigots. They're calling us all these names. I've never been racist to a man in my life. I was on a panel the other night, and the first question was asked to me by an African, why is Ireland racist? How dare somebody say that about my country? How don't come in here, reap the benefits of our benefit system, and then call us racist. He couldn't answer simple questions like, what type of racism have you seen in your life?
It's total political fucking corruption. That's what I believe it to be. You know, how can they come over here, call us racist, you know, when all we're trying to do is help them as immigrants coming over, you know, giving them nothing but the best. And now what they've gone and done, they've actually literally gone and destroyed fucking Northern Ireland altogether, you know, with their antics. Why couldn't they come over and just be a human?
This is what I'm trying to say to you, right? I really want to promote this. If people, you know, Stevie Boy, I'll send you a copy for free. I'll buy Stevie Boy a copy and send it to him. The Bunrock 1937. The Bunrock 1937 is our constitution. It's for the people of the North and South. There is no border. There's only one island. And what they're doing is, the political system in Ireland, the Dáil, right? It's blue because symbolism is everything. Ireland, the republic that is still owned by the Brits. It's still governed by the Brits to a certain degree. And that has to be acknowledged now, because if it wasn't, they would activate the Bunrock 1937. But it's not. We're still in an emergency constitution after World War II. The only constitution for the people of Era is the Bunrock 1937. That is your constitution that was set up, that has, I do believe it has 12 to 15 more amendments than the West Brit constitution that we're governed by now. That's why they're having all the referendums in Era, because they want to change everything. You know, they've got NGOs, non-government organizations, people before profit, that are communist organizations. Green Party are communists. These people are communists. I got attacked by these communistic demons outside the GPO in Dublin, Antifa, in front of the Gardaí, in front of the police. The Gardaí started screaming at me, telling me to get back onto the road. They pushed me in front of the tram line. And I says, I can't. Sure, they've pushed me. You've just witnessed them pushing me, physically assault me. They started screaming at me to get back onto the road. I got the whole thing in video. Me and Solway went down. Seen it, we exposed it for what it is. For anybody that's sitting on the fence with this, go to the protests, see what it's like. All these NGOs, 3/4 of the country are against what's happening. There's just 1/4 of the country fighting back right now, because the other percentage is afraid to speak out. I know Pakistanis, I know Indians, I know black people, white people that I have spoken to over the past 6 months, one of the biggest heavy hitters in the game, Saladin, who's Pakistani origin, that absolutely detests what's happening to this country. Is he also a racist? This guy understands Islam very well. There is no democracy. They're trying to bring in Sharia. Under Sharia, they will be able to control you. These are things that you need to understand. Sharia is a control mechanism. You will not have no rights. There is no LGBTQ under Sharia. Women have to do 4 hours of religious studies per day. So what the ironic thing to me is and just on the Islam front, the people before Prophet, the people before puberty people, and the Greens and the far leftists, the communists, are advocating to allow people in that will take them out. They're not going to come after me. They're going to come into my household and say, Cabbage, everything's A-okay here, son. You've got a wife, you've got a kid. There's no abnormalities going on in here. But see the people that advocated for us to come in, off the rooftops with them. So you need to understand that there's an evil that's crept in here. And I'm going to be honest with you. This isn't me being pro-Jewish. I know they control the media. They're the perpetrators of what's happening all around the world at the minute. They've been promoting this shit. I'm not pro-Jew or pro-Islam. I'm Christ is King. This is our country. The Bunrock 1937, it directly states Jesus Christ in the first passage. If you don't like our country, fuck off. Get out.
Yep, get out.
Simple as that. There's the terms and conditions.
I mean, if they can't come over and live by the way that we live, especially, I mean, over there, where you are, Ronan, over there, northern Ireland. I think they've absolutely fucking destroyed the country. You know, because it's not just one or two, like you say. They're coming over in the hundreds, and like you say,
thousands, Steve. Thousands, Steve. Newtown, Mount Kennedy. There is a town, Newtown, Mount Kennedy, which is basically a middle class, the upper class town. Newtown, Mount Kennedy. They have built a compound within Newtown, Mount Kennedy, packed to the brim of fighting fit men, armed with a dangerous ideology that do not care what you think, that are favoured by the government. They know exactly what's happening. There's Coolock. There's Clonmel. There's ones in Kildare. I've spoken to Cork, all over the north, outside Belfast. Try to get a hotel. Now they're erecting pods all around the field. The army's looking after them. Some of these in army territory, the Irish Defence Force. So, you know, my question is, what's with the secrecy? Why are you being secret about this? Why hide them away? Look at Dublin. Look at, I was just down there the other week. Look at Mount Street, all the tents. It's a mini Skid Row. You go down, the cops say to you, go down there, but on your own accord, because we can't do it. We can't do anything to save you because it's so hostile. Look at the Grand Canal, the beautiful Grand Canal in Dublin. Tents everywhere. Sponsored by Trespass. I wonder what Trespass thinks about this. So, not only is there, and with all the people coming in, it's creating a housing crisis because the infrastructure can't take it. Housing prices have shot through the roof because of the amount of people that's coming in. We're being ran by big landlords, big business. I'm not here sitting here saying to you that capitalism's the best thing, but I'm not a socialist or a communist. Capitalism kept the check on is the best way. But right now, capitalism is being ran amok with in era where landlords are taking massive contracts from the government to house these people, while there's mothers and fathers working their arse off here that cannot put food on the table or afford rent. How is that fair?
It's not. And, you know, I feel now that there should be some form of registration, you know, as to the ones that are coming over, because we don't know, and probably government wouldn't know exactly who these individuals are that are coming over. And you know, and I know, you know, they can slip through the net, you know, quite easily. And all they are out to do, you know, is to create terrorist activities somewhere, you know, where they're trying to find peace. Um, fucking man, it's madness, man.
Think about it this way, right? Think about it this way. Apart from the oil-rich countries, right? Apart from the oil-rich countries, it has got nothing to do with the ideology, right? Apart from the oil-rich countries, tell me one Islamic country that's ran well. Why do these people flee the country, come here and say that we're bad? We're told that we're bad, but they come from a shithole country. And they come here and they say the best way to be is Islamic. But you just came from Islam. You just came from an Islamic country where people are stoned and beaten and you can't do anything. But then you've came here to this great society, and now you're telling us how to live and how we should be. No, what's happening is if you don't live the way we live, then the place is going to turn into a shithole. This isn't rocket science. This isn't rocket science. This is all to do with ideology. We're all humans at the end of the day. If I grew up in one of these countries, I'd be the exact same. Not all of them are like this. People need to understand there's black people and there's other people of color that are being targeted. I give off the other day, there was Christians on the streets of Dublin that were preaching, and people said, they were like African Christians, and people were saying, imagine coming to Dublin and seeing this. And I says, what do you mean they're Christians? They're 100% fine. They're good people. So you're telling me you don't like it because they're black. So I'm not denying that there's real racists in this. Of course, there's racism everywhere, and I hate racism. But it's nothing to do with somebody's skin color. It's got everything to do with ideology. Everything to do with ideology. And actively right now, every day that goes on, our democracy is being corroded, chipped away at. To one day, you'll wake up and your daughter's in 4 hours religious studies. Women aren't allowed to drive. There's no LGBTQ. There's no pride events. There's none of these things. And people are going to look at me and say, I'm going to be 50, 60 years of age. And people are going to say, why didn't you do something to stop it? And I'm going to say, I did. I warned everybody. Nobody's listening. Just look at London. There is Sharia zones in London. I mean, this isn't. And then you've got these people in England that just turn a blind eye to this. You have to speak up about it. They're calling you far right for a reason. The media is owned. This is a plan that's happening. It's playing out through this. This is why I'm banned. Because this is what's happening. And there's evidence. Just look for yourself. It's all out in the public domain. This is all happening right now. This isn't a conspiracy theory.
I mean, it's not going to stop. It's just going to get worse, though, isn't it? And the problem being, like yourself, so highly spoken out, on this subject, and all they're going to do is fucking silence you, silence anybody else that wants to bring it out to the attention, because they know, that it's fucking corrupt from the top to the bottom.
You need to know who owns the media, right? Yes, those people do own the media. They do own the media. That's why, people say to me, "Oh, you must be pro-Palestine." They say you must be pro-Israel. I couldn't give a fuck about Israel. I couldn't give a fuck about it. I'm pro-Era. I'm not pro-England, pro-Scotland, pro-Wales, pro-America. I may like other countries, but I'm pro-Era. I'm a son of Era. There is no borders where I come from in my constitution. So I couldn't give a fuck what any other country does. Great Poland's got a right-wing government, fantastic. Such other countries got a left-wing country, fantastic. There's shit going off in Israel and Palestine. Okay, right, whatever, right. Sort it out. I'm pro-Era. There's too many people worrying about Russia, Ukraine, Israel, Palestine, China, Taiwan, while your own room is messy. Clean up your own fucking bedroom and then start worrying about other people's stuff, because right now Era is governed by the most corrupt government that Era has ever seen. We've never witnessed, and people don't believe me whenever I say this, but mark my words, if you're not awake to it, you will be awake to it very, very soon. You're bound to notice the amount of money that it takes to put fucking sausages on the plate. Why do you think that is? This isn't bringing the population levels up to pre-famine. It's got fuck all to do with famine. It's about changing. If they wanted to bring in good, decent people, right, they would have a good vetting process. Right now, 80% of the people that come into this fucking country don't have identification. They rip up their passport. That's a statistical fact. 80% of them. That's thousands of people here. We don't know who they are. They scan their fingerprints. They scan their eyeballs. They give them an Irish identification card, which, i.e. a new alias, and we'll never find out who the fuck they are. So tell me how that's a good thing for my daughters and my sons. How's that a good thing for this country? Will Australia accept that? Does America? Well, actually, America does accept it because 22 million of them flooded that border over the past 4 years. Why, if I move somewhere legally, I have to go through a strict vetting process? I have to go through checks, but people, I can just rip up my passport and land on Italy, and they're going to fucking put me up in a hotel, give me an allowance, give me money, and I don't have to worry about food, electric, or anything. Let's get the dinghy boats out, Steve. Let's get the fucking dinghy boats out, because I'm sick of this weather. Let's go to Italy. Oh, we don't even need a passport. Let's just fly over. Let's swim over there in a fucking dinghy boat. Dodge a few sharks. Because this is what they're telling us. They're saying this is acceptable to do. So
I think Chingy Breeze brought up a good point there. You know, it should be like Australia. If you don't meet the standards of the registration, then you don't get in. But for some reason, the government, you know, are just letting them in. They're not doing proper checks on none of them. They don't know Tom, Dick from a Harry. And then they're wondering why the country's so, you know, up in arms. Sooner or later, there's going to be a revolution where, you know, they're just going to fucking, you know, go to make sure that they can't get back in the country. I mean,
we're in the middle of a revolution, Steve. You know, people. I'm telling you now, people aren't hearing this. You need to get off YouTube. You need to get away from this platform. This is mainstream media. This is basically a form of the mainstream media that's dividing the public. Get onto X where the real information is being put out. We are in. Gavin Pepper has been elected to Ballymunfinglas. He is considered by the RTE mainstream media a far right figure because people aren't listening to the bullshit anymore. They've been elected all over nationalists. But I don't even mind into. It's a Republican Party that's for a United Ireland but I don't like that word because that's under the Royal Blue Constitution of Ireland. It should only be the Bunrock 1937. Activate that and there is no borders. It goes back to a United Ireland. We don't need a referendum for this shit. So this is why they don't want to do it, because they're Brits. They're West Brits. People pretending to be Irish and they're not. They're West Brits. You had Leo Varadkar talking about the Irish language, saying, oh, that's a nice wee language, isn't it? Yes, Leo, this is the fucking language of the country. You wouldn't know anything about that because you don't give a fuck, because you're an upper class snob that hates people from Ireland, that wants this multicultural utopia. Well, fuck, there's something to tell you, Leo. There's no such thing. That's why you had to leave the job, because you had a little conversation with the Democrats in the United States of America that warned you and told you about the plans, and that's why you left. Because you knew what was happening here. Now we've got a beta male Simon Harris and Sinn Féin up here. They're supposed to be a Republican party. Never voting for those traitors again. Fuck you, Sinn Féin. Never voting for Sinn Féin in my life again. What they're trying to teach children in schools, open borders, no checks whatsoever, came from the horse's mouth in Newry, a wee town about 40 miles away from me, where the man says, I don't want any borders. He's head up in Sinn Féin. They don't want any borders. Brits out, everybody else in. Brits out, radical Sharia law in. This country's going to the shit.
You know, Ronan, someone did say that, you know, this place is going to go totally across to Islam.
Listen, I don't give a fuck if it does. How about that? Because there'll be a coalition between Islam and Christianity. Because guess what? The Quran still believes in Jesus. They just think he's a prophet. So do you know what? Maybe what I'll do is, for the people that hate me, for the people that say that I'm wrong, I'll let it happen. And I'll shake my Islamic brother's hand and let them oppress you, because we've got a serious fucking memory problem here in Era, where we forget what the oppression's like. When the Brits came in, ripped your fucking daughters and sons out of the house, put a gun into their mouth, killed them for nothing because they might have had links to the IRA. British propaganda with the BBC saying that every man and woman of Era was in the IRA and that we were bad. No, we don't swap our oppressors. We don't Brits out, radical Sharia law in. But if need be, if these fucks that want to destroy the country want to destroy it, well, I'll shake my Islamic brother's hand, because it's not me that's getting thrown off the rooftops. It's you. Because I live a clean life in their eyes. I've got a wife, I've got a kid. I live pure. In their eyes, I'm not abnormal. But the people that are advocating for these people to come in, that will eventually have the majority vote, the people that advocate for them, they will be the first ones off the rooftops. And it'll be Ahmed, get the stones. The stupid cunts allowed us in.
Well, I hope that's opened your eyes, guys. You know, you can't speak the truth anymore, because, you know, you're going to be silenced as soon as they realise that, you know, they're going to be made to look like a fool or an idiot. And it's exactly what's happened in Ronan's case. When are these platforms actually going to have a backbone? You know, and start, you know, supporting some of the content creators.
Yeah, I think it's good now. We'll just end that conversation. I've said what I needed to say. If I go on about it too much, the audience won't retain that information. So I think we should just cut that dead now, because you know, for the people that are doing it, you're warned. For the people that are turning a blind eye, awaken yourself. For the people that are fighting this globalist agenda, you're a patriot, and I love you, and I'll die for you. I'll end the conversation on that. I just want to ask you a question though, because I've been out of the dark side of YouTube for a while, and I've been on my TikTok. I've been telling people about the dark side of YouTube, and people don't believe me. They're like, "Dark side of YouTube doesn't exist," and they're like, you know, I'm like, but there's
have they got poo in their eyes? You know,
well, listen, it's not seen by an awful lot. Do you know what I mean? Like there's loads of people that I've met in Dublin, all over area here, and they're like, well, how did you come online? I was like, yeah, well, that was a couple of years ago. Decca Higgie's like, who's Decca Higgie? Bare knuckle boxer? No, I don't have a clue who he is. Must be some glue bag. And I was like, yeah, well, a lot of people call him a glue bag, but I see that it's still going. You've got channels, you've got the heavy hitters still making content, but it seems like everybody just hates each other now. Like, Decca's not online anymore. I heard something to do with him. Somebody sent me a link that he was on the Shadow Boxers channel the other day, and I listened. No, it was yesterday actually. I got sent the link, and I listened to like 2 minutes off it, and I near threw up. It was just like, this is like Battle of the Bacons here, like Battle of the Wrong'uns. I'm not, you know, there's no way I'm ever getting involved with these people again.
I mean, the dark side of YouTube. I mean, I'm very, very shocked that there are people out there that's never come across the dark side of YouTube. I mean, I can't believe that for 1 minute. I mean, it's so vile and it's so much that's out there. You know, once it died down a bit off fucking Dicky Bacon Boy, I knew people were going to implode. I knew the only avenue left then is to turn upon each other. You know, and I think that's what's slowly happening. It's the case of the old word, is it divide and conquer? I think, you know, let's divide them up and then fucking conquer. And
can I just say something? I said, Terry Conroy says, thank God England is sending all the dinghy divers to the Spuds. I think he means to Ireland, right? To Era. Now, because of the Rwanda bill, right? People don't know about this. Well, actually, a lot of people know about this. Terry Conroy does. But because of the Rwanda bill, that, you know, Richie Sunak's going to fly a load of boys out to Rwanda, right? Biggest load of piss, by the way. That's just a threat. That's a deterrent. They're never actually going to. They flew a few people out, but It's not. They're not really going because it's costing too much money. It's costing hundreds of millions, right, just to do that. But because of that, it's made a load of these people flood into the north here and then into the Republic, right? So my question is, if I was the leader of ERA, right? If I was the leader of ERA, I would say to England, I'm taking this as an act of war here, that you're allowing people to cross the ocean and flood our country because of the Rwanda bill. And I understand that England said that Ireland's allowed to join the Rwanda bill to fly them out. But the fact that that's a thing and it happened, not an act of war, but I would say to them, if I was a strong leader, are you trying to break down foreign relations here with us? Because your actions are causing a more of an invasion into our country. But we've got a weak leader. You've got Richie Sunak, beta male. You've got Simon Harris, beta male. And you have these people that are beta males, that do everything for themselves. Have a heavy vetting process. Have deterrence so people don't come off in the dinghy boats. Ireland is an island. How the fuck? We have to fly them in. They come over in the boat in the north, but they're being flown in. Do people not realize that they're not coming off dinghy boats in Era? That sea would chop them up. That sea is formidable. So while they're coming into England, because of the Rwanda bill, they're fleeing into the Republic. So we need somebody with balls in this country to call out England and say, hold on here, dickhead, what are you doing? You're breaking down foreign relations with us. You know, we help you with the Irish airspaces. We allow you to come in here and land. We allow you to do all this. We've got this good relationship with you. Why are you allowing our country to be invaded here? Because Richie Sunak is a snake. He's an absolute snake.
This country, and put us out of this big recession, they're actually stamping us further down into the ground. And again, it's going to be all political yet again. It's going to be, oh yeah, if you speak up, it's a case of you're racist. And when are they actually going to get their finger out their arse and actually do something, you know, that's going to make the country great, you know, for Ireland and for England? I don't know.
There's children that can't play out in the street because of their mothers are afraid of them being snatched by gangs. There was a child that was near snatched by a Romani in Dublin the other month. Gavin Pepper interviewed her before he got elected. The man tried to lift the child. We have an issue with it's not about race. There's Irish people that do this. There's white people that do this. There's black people that do this. There's all different types of people that do this. But if we have issues like that already within our country, why are we allowing people to come in here completely unvetted?
You would have thought they would have closed that by now, though, wouldn't you? Given the experience of what's happened over the past couple of years. Why aren't they? Why aren't they plugging that gap? You know, why aren't they making sure that whoever comes over is going to keep people safe in whatever country that they go to, you know, to find their peace? You know, these are the sort of questions that government need to own. You know, why aren't you plugging these gaps to stop this from happening? Don't you care about your own people?
England's giving the French $2 million a day, while at the same time demonizing people that are on benefits. Like, think about that. Think about that. They're giving $2 million to France that's not benefiting the country. And another thing, I have to say this: a lot of people have noticed that there's a deficit in regards to the benefit system, because people think, oh, benefits are bad. Benefits are gotten and it's put back into the economy again. People are noticing that there's a lot of money going out of this country via benefits, because a lot of the boys that are coming in here that are getting their weekly allowance of hundreds of fucking euro, by the way, while mothers are starving and kids are hungry and people can't pay put the electric in or pay rent. Well, half that money's getting shipped abroad. So they're fucking us from all angles here. We're being spit roasted.
See, the problem is, I mean, we're spending abroad, aren't we? So all the money, instead of it going back into our country, we're actually spending our money fucking abroad, because government sold off every fucking thing that we've ever owned, factory wise, and stuff like that. The history, all got sold off, privatized.
I'm not against refugees or asylum seekers. I think there just needs to be a cap on it. Like you say, we're going to take in 35,000. 30,000 a year isn't that bad, believe it or not, because you can cope with that. But it's not 30,000 a year. It's quadruple that. It's quadruple that number.
And the problem is, if they said, for argument's sake, let's allow 100,000 over a 3-year period. So they're going to trickle over the 100,000 over like the 3-year period. But what I think's happened at the start, they haven't trickled them over. They've just packaged them straight over.
Yeah.
See, they're going above their target. Hence,
England's different. It's been happening within England since the 70s. But the people of Eire have noticed the past 6 years it's been rapid. And the only people, like, you see, it's literally got nothing to do with race. I spoke to a guy the other day, he was from Kenya. And he was a nice Christian guy, and he was telling me about his country. And he was a brilliant guy. A lot of our nurses and doctors are foreign men and women. But them people have worked hard to come here. Those people have went through a vetting process to come here. Those people are educated. Those people are skilled labour. Right now, you've got people in this country that you see it all over Dublin. You see it all over my little town. I spoke to a woman the other day, right? She's an Eastern Asian Irish woman. She's got a bit of an Asian about her, right? Very beautiful looking girl. And she says, I used to go walking. Like, she's lived here all her life. Like, she's a dub through and through. And she goes, I used to go walking down this little park, and I can't go walking there anymore because it's packed full of migrants, and they all loiter about drinking Old English and whiskey. And if I walk down there, undoubtedly, I'm going to get sexually assaulted. And that same lady I met off the bus in Dublin outside Busaras. And I met up with Solway, big up the Solway. I met up with Solway, and I says, listen, I met up with her and him, and I says, I need to take a piss here. I'm going to come back here. So I came back 2 minutes later after taking a piss. Solway says to me, you're not going to guess what happened. I says, what? He says, you went to take a piss. A fella's just came out of a tent over there just across the road from Busaras, approached our lady friend here. I'm not going to say her name. And he thought that she was by herself, looked her up and down, and was ready to step forward to grab her until Solway ran over and told him to get the fuck. Get the fuck out of here before you get chinned, you cunt. Absolutely off his tits, ready to sexually assault a woman or God knows do what. And that was my first experience getting off at Busaras in Dublin city centre. So there's little towns that are being filled up all across Eire. It's happening within, this is literally gotten. Why do you think there's Islamic countries in the Middle East that aren't taking in refugees? There's Muslims that aren't allowed into Islamic countries. Why do you think that is? Because they understand that a lot of those people have been radicalized. Saudi Arabia understands this. To talk about fucking Palestinians, there's 2.5 million Palestinians in Jordan under a tyrannical dictatorship. Nobody's talking about the Free the Palestines there. There's millions of Uyghur Muslims in concentration camps in China. Where's Free the Uyghur Muslims? Nobody gives a fuck about them. So everything we see is a psychological operation by the media. Who owns the media? Oh, you thought that I was pro-Israel, didn't you? Fuck them. They control the media. They control every aspect of what we see. If I go onto X right now and I type in Christ is King, they call me anti-Semitic. Well, sorry to tell you, he is king.
Wow.
can't not say the truth. So I'm not coming at you like from a Zionist point of view. Fuck them. They said it. Israel said it. One of the ambassadors said that, because of Ireland's support for Palestine, we're going to send them all to Ireland. That was a threat to us, that he's going to send hundreds of thousands of radicals into our country because they can. Why do you think they're doing that to Gaza? They're clearing the whole of Gaza. Gaza doesn't exist anymore. Because they need that land, because it's a shipping lane. And they're going to have control of that. Netanyahu was going to get kicked out. He's the leader of Israel. He was going to get kicked out pre the war kicking off. He was going to get kicked out. There was going to be a criminal investigation into him. He was going to do time in prison. Oh, and then the greatest border in the world was breached by goat farmers. Where did we hear that one? 9/11, everybody?
Yeah.
A 10-mile wide border. And inside that border is the greatest intelligence agency in the world, Mossad, was breached by goat farmers. Glorified goat farmers. Do you think Hamas are actually technically organized? They're glorified goat farmers. The average age in Gaza is 19. When you throw a grenade over, you're hitting babies. It's got nothing to do with that. They want that. They want all that land. Then they're going to go after the Lebanon next. Then they're going to go after the next one. You're going to see it. And the lobbyists within the United States of America are going to give them support. Why? Because they're all Israeli. So I understand what's going on here. I understand the media. I've been getting called far right for years. I couldn't give a fuck what they say to me. This is the truth. So this isn't me. Like, people need to understand, I don't hate Islam. I don't hate Judaism. I'm just trying to say to everybody here, this whole country's been built in Christianity. Christ is king. There's a reason why Christ is king, because under Christianity, all these things are built. Yes, it's got its downfalls in a lot of sectors, but everything that we appreciate today was built on the foundations of Christianity, not Judaism or Islam. People really need to understand that. Just saying. He says, big up Tommy. I speak to Tommy Robinson. Tommy Robinson follows me on X. Tommy Robinson shared a couple of my things. I disagree with Tommy's support, that type of support for Israel. But we can, but I think he even realizes, but he's supporting Israel because he hates Islam that much, because of what Islam's done to the little towns in Leeds, Rochdale, the Telford grooming gangs, Wigan. I get that. I understand where he's coming from. But who's been perpetrating that via the media? There you go. Left-leaning media and right-leaning media is owned by the same people. We've called this out. And you get censored for it. It is what it is. I'm going to leave it there for today, Steve. I'm going to leave it there for today, because that's an hour in. That'll do us. Because my son, the missus is away with her friends for a few days, and I've got my son. He's in there playing his PlayStation, and I don't want to leave him. That's an hour now. I don't want to leave him too long, just playing the PlayStation.
Well, cheers for coming on, Ronan. I mean, we can pick up on this when we get some spare time again. I mean, but I'm glad you've managed to get your message out there, because these fucking idiots trying to silence you, and because the proof's there, the facts there, it's all out in the public domain.
I just want to say to Terry there, I'm not against Israel. I'm not against Israel or Palestine or Russia or Ukraine or Australia. I'm just telling you, this is what it is. Christ is king. I couldn't give a fuck. But if you want to stay in my house and you've got an Israel flag, great. A Palestinian flag, great. Russia, American, fucking Timbuktu, I don't care. As long as you're a good guy, I can have a pint with you, we can have a good conversation. I don't give a fuck. I'm not against Israel. Let's call a spade here, Terry. The greatest border in the world, the Israeli border, it's the greatest in the world, giving them credit. The greatest intelligence agency, which is Mossad, were breached by goat farmers? Ask yourself that question. Then look into Netanyahu and see what was going to happen to him prior to the war kicking off. Then it all makes sense. It all makes sense. So all the good Israelis, fucking fair play to them. I'll go over and have a drink, have a pint with them. Let's have a bit of crack. Let's have a piss up. Let's get everybody together and kick all these fucking corrupt people out. That's what I'm saying. I don't care what Israeli flags. Like, it doesn't matter to me. I don't give a fuck. My flag is the flag of Era. That's who I'm. Era first. Ireland first. That's who I am. That's who you should be too. Well, your country.
Fucking hell. So YouTube are actually creating their own dark fucking side. You know, by silencing people when, you know, it's out in the public domain. So why are you gonna?
Can you highlight that comment with Terry there? Because I want to explain that. It says plenty of Irish support for Palestine march is such a shame. I want to explain this here. I know it says we're going to go, but Terry's keeping me here. Interesting points. So, to the people that in the Palestinian marches, I'm not talking about Stevie Boy because Stevie Boy's been following this for years. He understands. Stevie Boy's seen all the information all the videos that I was releasing on Palestine years ago on my Holden official channel. The Palestinians have been persecuted against for years. Guess what? Not only by Israel, but by Hamas, right? People need to understand that now. The marches, the Palestinian marches in Era here weren't for Palestine. Yes, a lot of the local people went because they're against what's happening in Palestine at the minute. But the people who orchestrated those marches are Marxist communists. One of the guys actually trained in Marxism. It's actually on his Twitter feed, on his bio. He's a Marxist. He's a communist. So he's using the Palestinian thing to try to implement more control into Era. He doesn't care about the Palestinians. He doesn't care about them. Real people that were speaking about Palestine were speaking about this 8 years ago, 6 years ago. Why did Ireland come out and recognize Palestine as a country? Because the Marxists and the communists put pressure on them. Ireland should have recognized Palestine as a country 8 years ago. They didn't because they're weak. That's it. So real people who are against what's happening to the Palestinians have been speaking about this for many years. The settler movement within the West Bank. It's absolutely disgusting. Big, grotesque men from America coming over and kicking Palestinian women and children out of their home while they moved in. The Gaza Strip, which was basically inhabitable at one stage. Very, very volatile area. All checks of goods, bar one port, checked by Israel going in. They couldn't really govern themselves. But why is that? Because a lot of people don't want to admit this on the Palestinian side of things. In 2005, the Palestinians elected in 2004, 2005, they elected in Hamas that promised democracy. Within a year, they abolished democracy. So this whole thing, I support Palestine, I support Hamas. No, that's a terrorist organization, my friend. They took hostages. Even though they're goat farmers, and I do believe that there was a lot of goings on there that allowed that to happen, but they went in, they butchered innocent people, regardless of their religion. They butchered innocent people, and they took hostages. So what sort of a reaction do you think you're going to get from that? Of course they're going to go all out. Of course they're going to try to obliterate you. Netanyahu stated that we're not going to stop until every single one of them are gone. Why do you think he said that? It's because he knows that they'll just rebuild and they'll go after him again. You've got Iran, you've got all these neighboring countries that want to take Israel out. I get that. I'm not anti-Israel. I'm just anti-control of the media. Then you see that a lot of the people that own the media that wave that little blue and white flag with the star on it. If there was a majority of people in the West that say had a Russian flag that owned the media, people would be up in arms about it. Oh, Russia control, Russia control, Russian control. But I'm saying is that all the vast majority of the people that run the media have a blue and white flag with a star on it. And if I say that, they call you anti-Semitic. I'm not anti-Semitic. I'm saying why have these people got so much control? Because they want to silence your voice.
Yeah.
I'm not against them. All humans should live in harmony, side by side with one another. I'm not pro-Palestine or pro-Israel. I'm pro-life. This is what a lot of these fuckers don't want you to talk about. They don't want unity. That's why people wave their Palestinian flags, and communists make marches up again. You know, they have Palestinian marches. They wave Israeli flags because it's division politics 101, divide and conquer. Shouldn't hate a Palestinian. Palestine should have been recognized as a country 10 years ago. Shouldn't hate Israel. Shouldn't want Israel to be abolished. The ironic thing about the whole situation is, Steve, is that the people that want Israel abolished, right, call me a Nazi. And I'm trying to say to those people, those dumb, uneducated fucks, that that's literally what the Austrian painter tried to do. He literally tried to take those people out. So how can you call me a Nazi whenever I'm saying, don't be saying abolish Israel? That makes you the Nazi, my friend. Oh, what do you mean? Well, learn history. Know what World War II was literally about. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
You know? Listen, I'm sorry for that. I'm fucking talking about the Austrian painter and everything here, for fuck's sake. Bringing up the man himself. Fuck me. I didn't want to go.
Makes up all that lost time that.
Yeah. So listen, I'm going to shoot on here, Steve. Thank you very much for having me on. I'll jump on some other time with you. But listen, I wanted that documented. I can't make any YouTube videos. Banned from YouTube. Banned from social media. The most banned man in Ireland, I would say. But apart from Michael O'Keefe, Gavin Pepper, and a lot of the other ones. But I'm definitely an undesirable, which is great, because I want to leave it at this. If I'm an undesirable to those fucking satanic demons that are running these platforms, that's great, because that means I'm pure. So I'll leave it at that. Peace out, folks.
Cheers, Ronan, for coming on. We'll do a follow up to this one.
Yeah.
Because there's so much, that I want to get you on and cover from over that end. But wow, I'm gonna have to rewatch this tomorrow. And take fucking note of what's been said. I think because
yeah, that's what it is. Are you staying on, or will I leave now?
Yeah, I'm gonna stay on probably for 5-10 minutes. I'll see if I can.
All right. Sorry. Right. Listen, peace out, folks. Peace out. Chat, Steve.
There we have it. I'm gonna stick the link out there if Bobby wants to jump on. I don't know why my messages aren't going through. But Bobby, real honest truth, the link's there if you want to jump on, mate, for a quick 10 minutes. Yeah, Ronan's a very, very educated lad. I will be doing a few more lives with Ronan to cover all this, what's going on over in Ireland. Because it's very interesting to know. Bobby, real honest truth, good evening, sir. Link's there if you want to jump on for 5-10 minutes. But yeah, there's so much of that going on over in Ireland. I think Ireland's been destroyed. with all these immigrants coming over. And yes, I do feel they should plug that hole and have some kind of registration so they actually know who's who, as opposed to just wanting to let them over. They should be vetted. Because it would only be vice versa if we was going over to one of their countries. We would have to produce all the fucking documentation coming out of our ears. But yeah, the link's there, guys, if anybody wants to jump on. Otherwise, I'll wrap it up there if no one's wanted to jump on for 5 minutes. So I beg you all a good evening, and I'll catch up with you guys shortly. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Don't forget to hit the like button on the way out. Cheers, guys.